A lot has changed since I went to prom. All right, putting your money to work and investing wisely can be the key for building wealth for retirement. Here with some tips on how to grow our savings and invest in our future is co-founder and president of Solo, the largest community finance platform in the U.S., Rodney Williams. So great to meet you.
It's a pleasure. Happy to be here.
We have already been talking money and strategy. So we hear budget, and you got a budget, you got to have one. And I think sometimes people think, oh my gosh, it means that I have to be restricted. But why is it so good to create one? We should all have one.
It's the foundation, right? And you start with the expenses you don't need. Or you start with the expenses that are luxury and try to cut them down, try to get them manageable. But staying in line with the budget allows you to save, ultimately invest. So I always say just start with the budget. That's probably your first thing you want to go out and do when you're thinking about your future. But it's a good plan.
Yeah, you gotta have some plan. That's what we're saying, right?
Some plan is better than no plan, and no plan is a bad plan.
Yeah. What about extra expenses? I think we're always looking for ways we can save. Sometimes things are non-negotiable, in your budget. How do you try to tackle those?
Well, I think the number one thing that should be non-negotiable is yourself. And saving is investing in yourself. Now, I totally understand self-care days are also investing in yourself.
Okay, good. We're on the same page.
But making sure you're putting those savings for you in that rainy day so you can invest in your future is really, really very important. It starts with that budget. It starts with taking those expenses away. Instead of those luxury expenses or those expenses that you don't need, you put it in your savings, and that will lead to a better day.
Yeah, and why should it just be a non-negotiable? I think sometimes it's hard for us to see the big picture, right?
Yeah, because in the event you have an emergency, you have that emergency expense. It's a non-negotiable. Your groceries, paying your rent or your mortgage, insuring your child care. You have non-negotiable expenses, and that savings is dedicated to those non-negotiables or investing in your future. And you should think about it that way. Because in the event you do not have those savings and you lose a job or you're sick at home, whatever the emergency expense may be, you will put yourself at a disadvantage if you don't have a nest egg to lay on.
Yeah, because then you're going to go into more debt. I think we always want our money, or we should want our money working the best way it can be. So what is the best way? What tips do you have on how to earn the best return on our savings? Is there a secret account that I need?
Well, it's definitely not your checking account. That's the biggest mistake that most consumers do. They're savings, they're happy about it, but it's sitting in the wrong account. You should be talking to your bank and understanding